Now we've got an exciting Clubhouse event today. And we will welcome everyone to this Clubhouse event. Your energy, your health be changed to be greater. I would like to start by raising the vibration in the space that we're in now by calling for the highest possible vibration and calling for the truth to come forward into our discussion so that the truth can be seen, heard, and spoken, and that we all be in that frequency of truth and have nothing but the truth. Shall we call for the divine feminine to bring balance into our world, showing us the way through honor, respect, and gratitude, and calling for the highest possible vibration? I ask for everyone to take a sip of water as water holds memory, and ask for the water to hydrate our brains and body. Now I like for everyone to take a deep breath in. 3, 2, 1, and let it all out. Take another deep breath in, bringing in peace, joy, gratitude, and life. And exhale out, releasing all stress and worry, all that does not serve you. And Lakesh and Veritas, everyone, I call for the oneness and truth of the information shared by each and every one of us on this call, calling in that frequency of truth so that we all can experience all that is truth, as it is our purpose to bring forward the truth so that we all can benefit from this information shared with honor, respect, and gratitude to you all. The greeting in Lakesh signifies unity, where everything is related to one another, where everything and everyone is connected. It is the idea of a community where we can share with one another ideas, goals, and aspirations so that we all, as one, can benefit and thrive. And Lakesh is that declaration in which we are clearing our spaces, the space we're in now, so that we may be able to bring forth a truthful, elevated, and enlightened discussion this evening, clearing away those thoughts that we tend to pick up and carry with us from our everyday life experiences. The words En Lakesh and Veritas is a powerful affirmation to assist in bringing clarity and a greater understanding of truth to all who are present and to all who are listening. Our words have power. So let us remember and decide to use our words carefully, using words of upliftment, encouragement, and enlightenment. By doing so, as a collective, we will help to transform our spaces and places into higher frequencies and better experiences for each and every one of us here, as well as for those others who we touch. So, En Lakesh and Veritas, everyone, with honor, respect, and gratitude. Before we begin, I'd like for everyone to hold their water in their hands. You hold your water in your hands. And now I ask for everyone with intention in mind to send the frequency of En Lakesh to their water. And then take a sip of your water. So we are 70% water, and water holds information and memory, thereby assisting in incorporating this elevated frequency of En Lakesh into the subatomic space within our bodies. Again, it's all quantum physics. By doing this technique, it will allow for the ease and flow of the information we'll be sharing with one another this evening. I want to remind everyone that you can access the recording for this Clubhouse event and recordings from prior Clubhouse events on Vimeo and on YouTube by just searching En Lakesh Studios. And please remember to subscribe if you have not already done so. You can also find more information and content on enlakeshstudio2.com, the website, so that you can get up to date information and content that is continually being added. All right, we're going to go ahead and move forward into our quick review, current events. So recently in the news, they were trying to pass a bill through Congress to restrict supplementation usage. So Senator Dick Durbin of Illinois, Bill Gates, and the National Academies, along with others, are working together to enforce supplement bans, restricting higher dosing of supplements. So this is a way in which they can regulate high dose supplementation, which has been found to be helpful in certain circumstances. So Stephanie, thank you for sharing that information with me. Do you have any other additional comments with regards to that information? All right, we'll go
In the Catch and Veritas, with honor, respect, and gratitude.
with honor, Sigmund.
Um, I think when I sent that to you, I wasn't, quite clear on what the supplements were, but as I researched a little further, um, I realized that, these supplements are very important to a lot of people. And, it did kind of touch upon the holistic part of healing. Um, I think that Bill Gates and all of those peoples, um, they have their agenda,
Mm-hmm.
but I say it's not gonna work. It's
Yeah,
not gonna work. Yeah.
yeah.
So and of the Sun is here doing the work that we're doing, and it is effective. It's being effective, and all of the things that need to be brought to the surface are coming up, and for us to have an opportunity to affect it and clear it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm grateful to be here, and I was grateful to come upon that information to pass
Right,
along to you.
right. Thank you, thank you. I mean,
You're
and this is just
welcome.
another form of control. It's another form of control, but there are other ways in which we can then, um, work with providing nutrients on ourselves, and we're going to get into that today. And then also in the news, there's been an increase in the number of food processing plants throughout the country that have been burnt down in this past year. California, Oregon, Pennsylvania, Texas, Arizona, Maine claims that there are fires that are within these plants, and they're claiming that this may be a cyber attack, but in fact, there have been between 18 to 25 food processing plants that have burnt down within the past few months, and even more, I think within the year or 2 years, 97 or so. So this data is then brought forward in the news after, President Biden recently warned us of impending food shortage and due to the supply chain shortage in the supply chain. But mainstream media is telling us that these fires are not intentional or premeditated to create, that's creating a national famine. And then the same thing at the same token, parallel to this, the same thing is happening in Canada, where President Trudeau is reporting food shortage around the same time in Canada as well. So, I'm bringing this information up to you to say that it's now time to start thinking about how we can become sovereign, working with whole foods to provide us with the nutrients that we need instead of relying on supplementation, and to start thinking about growing and supplying our own food. So, today I have the pleasure of having Adil and Syrennia here to talk about just that, how we can start growing our own food through sprouting and growing through microgreens. They are here to share with us their experiences in growing sprouts and microgreens, and how as a form of life energy, how it can help us in supporting our own life energy. So, welcome, Adil and Syrennia. Thank you for joining this Clubhouse event.
Thank you. And location veritas on respect and gratitude. Thanks for
And
having
Lakesh Veritas, honor, respect, and gratitude.
Location.
Syrennia, go ahead, Adil.
I'll let Syrennia go first. That's fine.
Oh no, I just wanted to let her know that we could barely hear you. It's like you're, I don't know if you may want to get a little closer. So, all right. But I mean, so I'm going to start with you though, Adil. You have an interesting story on how you got to started with growing your own sprouts and your
Oh,
actual relationships, and it's fascinating. I wanted to know if you can share your story with everybody here.
oh, for sure. So what happened with me was my health was suffering back in 2020. Um, I I was basically leading into Bell's palsy, and the left side of my body was actually paralyzing. And so, I spoke with Leota, and I had to move into a raw diet for 4 months. And part of that raw diet was, sprouts every day. And
Hmm.
it became such a staple of my diet. I've actually been eating a full head of sprouts every day for the last year and a half now. And
Mm.
and yes, speaking of, you know, food shortages, that was something that happened later last year. The grocery stores, I started to notice that the sprouts supply started getting smaller and smaller. And yeah, I went in and I asked the person behind the counter, and they're like, "Oh, you're the one who buys all the sprouts," and and so she says, we're actually not going to be carrying them any longer. And so there was a little bit of time where I had to move towards salads and things of that sort. But with sprouts, you can really tell the difference in new life. They really are new life. The energy is different. And, I missed that feeling, the vitality that they brought to me. And so I had to start growing my own. And a lot of us are eating them as well, and started expanding into growing for everyone else as well.
Mm. Yeah, it's interesting. Interesting. And do you notice the difference, like when you're after eating it, like when you're like at the time when there was a shortage before you came to the realization that you needed to grow your own?
Oh yes. So what's interesting was, I started speaking with the sprouts and trying to really connect with them.
Hmm.
And everything I was asking them to do for me, even though I wasn't fully getting responses from them the way I was hoping, now I'm much more connected with them. But the results would show. They really were providing me with everything I was needing. And I'd also started pyramid pyrogenics with Donna at the time. And
Hmm.
so my hair also needed sun in the mornings. So I'd sit in the sun while my sprouts are getting the sun and be
Mm.
in meditation with them, and really started to become one with them.
Hmm.
And now I can see the differences, and they really are becoming a reflection of me. So,
Hmm.
for example, what was it, 3 weeks ago? I got very sick, and I go downstairs, and my mother's like, "Oh, your sprouts went bad." And I was like, "Oh, I got sick. They got sick," you know. And
Yeah.
and they also show me a lot about me as well. So another funny story recently is I've cut down. Work's become a little time consuming, and so I've been resting a little longer, and so I haven't been going to the gym as often.
Hmm.
So my sprouts started growing, shorter and rounder. And I was trying to think, like, what's going on here? You pull up the entire jar, but I'm still getting the amount of sprouts in terms of weight, but growing rounder and rounder and fatter and fatter.
The sprouts are gaining weight.
And I looked in the mirror, and I'm like, okay, there we go. Like, they're telling me something. Like, it's time to get back to the gym. So it's quite an experience with them.
Oh, that's so funny. But it's true. They have a consciousness. This is fascinating, fascinating story. And how did you find it growing them? Because I know it was a process, and with a lot of people, when they say, "Oh, I got to start growing," they think it's like going to be labor intensive and so forth, and it's actually not.
Oh
It's very.
yeah, it's really not, and it becomes a part of your routine. Luckily, with sprouts, it's quite a simple process. So you fill
Mhm.
up the water in jars with them in there. You let them soak, and it can also be kind of fun. With the sprout,
Mhm.
you have to make the process fun as well. So you know, since I'm shaking the water, out of the jars, so like I'm dancing with them. And what was funny was the first batch I gave Leota, she goes, "Oh my goodness, they're dancing." And I was like, yeah, I've been dancing with them every morning and evening, and
Mm.
yeah, just making it a part of your routine. And, I ho'oponopono with them. Sometimes I sing Taylor Swift's Shake It Off song, like it,
Yeah.
you vary it up and, just make it a part of who you are as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I can just let you know through like my experience, if I can tell, the energy within the sprouts. If I obtained it from somewhere, someone, whether the energy is compatible with me and it's good for me, then I feel good about them, about the food that I eat, and when it's not, I can actually feel the ill effects from it, from what it's experiencing. So, thank you for sharing that information. And then now, talking about dancing and, partying with it, let's bring on Serenia. What is your experience? Because I know you sing and dance with your greens and microgreens.
Yeah, relocation veritas on expressing gratitude. Can you hear me better now?
Yes, I can.
It's
I
raining a
see it's
lot,
pouring,
so
but
yeah.
it's okay. It's okay.
So I have a similar experience to Adil as far as the growing of the sprouts. I mean, I really wasn't even inclined. I'm not going to talk about sprouts. I'm going to talk about microgreens. But I was
Uh-huh.
just going to say, like, the sprouts from the store seem so pale and lifeless compared to the sprouts that you grow at home. And so I just wanted to echo that. That sentiment that Adil was sharing, that it's really when they can't become a part of you, when you recognize that they're alive and that they have consciousness, and there's a difference, and you can tell in the sprouts that you buy and the sprouts that you grow how different it is. And so I just wanted to say that before I went on talking about microgreens.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you can.
Yeah. But the microgreens is very similar. I usually grow my microgreens in the sun, um, and I
Serenia,
noticed.
can you, if you one other thing before you move on, can you, are you able to speak more into the phone a little bit more, or to raise the volume a little bit? Is it possible?
Can you hear me?
Yes, that's better.
Okay. Okay. So sprouts are grown. I don't know if anyone knows there's a difference in how you grow sprouts and microgreens. Sprouts are grown directly in a jar or whatever, um, wherever you want to grow them. But microgreens are grown with a medium, meaning many people grow them in dirt or wood pulp or hemp or jute. or there's many different kind of surfaces that you can use to grow on them, but they are grown more like a plant. And so you put the seeds, you can use the same seeds that you use to grow sprouts, you can use to grow microgreens, and you can use
Mm-hmm.
others. You can grow herbs. My experience is that, of course, the smaller the seed, the smaller the microgreen.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to need like some type of medium. I usually use either the wood pulp, or I use the hemp or the jute, and you put them on a surface in a tray, and you cover them. They have to be covered. So it's a different kind of growing, but the process of I use the sun as well, and I've had very good success with growing them in the sun. And I do talk to them, and I speak with them, and I notice that they will, they'll lean towards you, right? And they always go toward the sun. They
Mm-hmm.
go toward, they like the sun. I've noticed it more that they go toward the sun versus a regular light source. If I use the light source, they'll go more toward the sun, and they're just like reaching for it. And I'm always in awe when I'm watching them grow, because it's just, I can really feel the life and really the consciousness of them as they're growing. And
Mm-hmm.
they are very alive. And when I'm feeling like weak, or like if I'm like at a sore throat or anything, or if I've been pushing myself too hard, not getting enough rest, then I know
Mm-hmm.
I can get a quick boost with the sprouts, right? I just talk to them. I give them Inlakesh and Veritas when they're growing. Before they grow, I let them know what's going to happen. And then I ask them, to share with me their value and thank them for, sacrificing their life so that I may live. And I get an instant boost, because I had something like that yesterday where I really hadn't eaten enough. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
well, I know I got some microgreens in there. I'm going to have some of those. And I ate the microgreens, and I really felt actually like I didn't need any more food. And I felt energized, like really enough that, it gave me just the right amount of whatever I needed. Not too full, not too small. I didn't feel hungry afterwards, and it just gives me. It's almost like a light goes on in my head whenever I eat them.
Uh-huh. The
It's just
nutrient values. The nutrient value is very high with the microgreens. So
protein,
that's
lots of
good.
vitamins, all type vitamin C, magnesium, all of the vitamins that you get that they always have told us through the years that you can't get from plants, right? You can't get protein from a plant. You can't get a full nutrition from a plant. It
Mm-hmm.
only comes from meat, right? And
Yeah.
that's totally untrue.
Right. Right.
And it's alive. So
Right.
I tell people when they're having the experience of needing some more life, you go to life, right? And you
Mm-hmm.
grow life, and you eat life, and you connect with the life so that you may benefit from their life, and they have, graciously given us that gift. And so, and the more grateful we are for as we grow them, I find I get more from them as I grow them. So, and more life to
Mm-hmm.
share with me. So,
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that information. Um, these greens, these plants, they have a consciousness. And, what about the water that also holds consciousness? And we spoke about this last week with Tavars, and there's that well-known experiment where they compared the growth of a plant with water that was exposed to a microwave, when a microwave oven, compared to watering a plant that was watered with spring water. And the water that was watered with spring water had much more life to it, and and this is all about imprinting the information of life into the water. So water plays a factor in these plants as well, with regards to imprinting the consciousness within the water.
Yes, I agree. And the plant is mostly water as well. I mean, it
Yes.
is water. You soak it in water. You spray it with water. It's humidified. I give Inlocation Veritas. I know Adil does. To the water and to the microgreens and sprouts as they're growing. Then we put the ionic silver in there to assist.
Mm-hmm.
With deterring any type of bacterial, viruses, or fungal growth, and I
Mm-hmm.
put a little pinch of the DNA salt, and
Mm-hmm.
they're very magnificent. And again, feeding into that whole, sharing that whole water experience. That's like the ultimate water experience, like with the microgreens and sprouts, plus all of the protein and vitamins and minerals and that they contain.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Interesting. Interesting. I mean, it's kind of, I have just a regular plant. I had the Monstera in my room, and even that responds to, when with my moods and communication, and I can see it flourish, and it just helps to bring life into the air and the space that I'm in. So imagine having microgreens that's doing the same thing in your space, and then doing it for your body with gratitude, providing you with the needed nutrients. And you don't have to be concerned with taking external supplements. And that's being sovereign, providing your own nutrients.
Correct. And it's actually a big part of it is actually speaking to them, asking them to do what you need. What I've found is that they actually they like being acknowledged, and they like when you ask them, you ask them for certain things. I even, sitting in the sun with them in the mornings, I'm asking them to come alive inside me and assist with sprouting new hair follicles on my head.
Mm.
And oh yeah, and they're doing it. Start seeing results, and once you start seeing the magic in them, because you are communicating with them and they are fulfilling your requests, your gratitude grows that much greater for them, and then they grow from there as well. So it's really an experience.
Yeah, that's so exciting. That's so exciting. Um, does anybody have any questions or comments? Oh, I see. Serenia, do you have any
Yes,
other comment?
yes. I was gonna say also, um, I had the experience as far as the same as the deal as far as the other plants too. So it's the sprouts, the microgreens, and all of the plants. They seem to all grow together at that same rate. Even like if
Yeah.
I'm in alignment and I'm giving them gratitude and speaking with them, acknowledging them, then they grow better. It's like the whole place is alive. Like when you're walking through, it just feels like a complete space versus like you're just in a place and then you have a plant over in the corner and you have because they do want to be acknowledged, and they share oxygen with us, right? So,
Yes.
and they're all connected together. It's not
Yeah.
just one. They're all. I find when one grows, then the other one grows, et cetera, et cetera. It's very rare that I have a plant that doesn't live and the rest of them do, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
rare. And I ask, and if I do see something's going on, then I'll go to the plant and ask it. And the microgreens, the same kind of thing. I'll have to, like, if I'm growing a flat of them, because I tend to grow like different ones on a particular thing. I don't grow all the same ones. Like I'll put them in little sections and grow them, and I'll label them. And if
Mm-hmm.
one is doing something, and then the other one is affected by what the other ones are doing, and so then I'm like, what's going on, guys? Am I forgetting something? And and then
Right.
they're like, I get the indication as to what I need to do, what I need to up my game on, right? And so then they respond in kind, with that appreciation, and the more gratitude we get, the more gratitude they give, and it's like a continuous. process, you know, because they're consistently blessing us with their gift, and we're blessing them with the gratitude we have for them. It's just like a ongoing cycle of gratitude and, you know, and nutrition and energy. You know, it's like some of the best things you can do for yourself, you know, and show others how to do it. And children love to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Teaching our young people to do it and connecting with that is important. It's important. There's studies that are out there where there was a study that I read where they connected probes to a plant, and when someone, I guess they were the person in the room had pain, the plant felt it, and you can see the spike in the monitor that where the plant was connected to, showing as evidence that the plants respond to what's going on in the space with you. You know, it's just they just moving more slowly. That you just can't see them move, but they are.
Yeah, and my son, I wanted to give an example. My I was saying that the children like to grow. Yeah, my children are older. They're not little. They're not little children anymore. But one of my sons came to me and said, "Mom, can you show me how to grow these?" You know, and so we did it on Zoom. And so he was in school and he was kind of neglecting. He was stressing out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so his plants were responding in that kind of way. And he's like, they're not doing right. They're, you know. I said, calm down. Takes to do some
Mm-hmm.
Ho'oponopono. Are you doing Ho'oponopono? Are you talking to them? Are you giving them love? You giving them gratitude? And then he felt bad because he's like, I didn't do right with them, and I'm gonna do it again. No, I said, okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So they do respond to the environment, and they respond to um, you know, your consciousness and connection to them. So
Right, you're giving to it, to the plant, the greens, the plants, and the plants give back to you. You know, it's that cycle, that looped cycle. You know, which is wonderful. So, all right. Does anyone?
In La Kitchen Veritas, with honor, respect, and gratitude, this is Tiffany.
If I'm the Kitchen Veritas, Tiffany, with honor, respect, and gratitude.
I just wanted to share two things. One, first, I wanted to say thank you to Adil and Syrennia. Both of you popped new things in my head that I've been sprouting and growing microgreens for a while, but it never dawned on me the connection to actually working out. Funny enough, the other day, I just started working out again. I've not been really working out very well, and taking care of my body and bringing forth life in that way. And my husband was like, "Okay, we need to get healthy. Like, what are you doing? We need to be moving and working out more." And this day two, he went grocery shopping and brought home microgreens, and doesn't really do that often. Didn't make the connection. It was just his, move into the direction of we need to be more healthy, eat these. And so I've been eating them for the last few days, and I everything feels more alive inside my body, and I have had more drive and desire to actually continue that and to work out. And I have felt stronger because of it, and have wanted to eat more living foods, in that same vein. Um, the second
Mm-hmm.
the second thing that I wanted to say was Jade, my 4.5-year-old, has been sprouting with me. Goodness, since she was like, I don't know, one, since she could spin a salad spinner, because that's her favorite part of it when we rinse them, and is spinning the salad spinner with them in it. And she eats handfuls and handfuls of sprouts every single day. And she tell whoever that is I'm here. Oh yes, and Jade wants me to tell all of you that she is here hearing this. I
Okay.
will, honey.
Absolutely.
She walked in and said, "Tell whoever that is
Hi.
that I'm here."
Yes.
You have been
Hi.
acknowledged, honey.
Jade.
She just walked out of the room, but
That's
she
okay.
she eats handfuls of sprouts and loves them. And to this day, we do other, talking to all of our food, and Ho'oponopono, and giving everything in Lakesh, and activating our water. But she's never sick. I mean, she's 4.5, and she's been sick less than 3 times in her entire life.
Mm-hmm.
And but she, on a very regular basis, until the last few months that I stopped doing them, she always eats massive handfuls of them, and she loves the process. She loves participating in the process. She loves we put the seeds in our mouth, actually, and ask them to be informed with our DNA, and with everything that we need as they're growing. And then we take them out of our mouth and spit them into the jar, and then we
Mm.
rinse them off and soak them. We've told our neighbors this, and so they won't eat sprouts at our house anymore. But they're like, "Don't eat sprouts at Tiffany's house. They're spitting on them." It's so funny. But so I don't tell many people that anymore. But it really, I feel like it. We do that with our garden, everything we plant in the garden as well. But it just helps give that further depth of information to the plant for what we need.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Interesting.
I wanted to add to that too, if I may.
Oh, yes.
Uh, Tiffany, thank you, and that is a really good point, because how I do it now. Now I don't do that. Well,
What,
because
put it
because
spitting
I
in it?
want to show other people, right? I want to show other people a different way too.
Sure.
But it is very important. The Lord has reminded us of that. So what I've been doing is I take like a little, one of the skewers that you skewer your that you barbecue with, or something, like the little wooden ones.
Yeah.
And I take it and I just roll it around in my mouth, kind of, and then I put it on the surface or in the dirt of whatever
Oh,
it
that's a
is.
good way to do it. It seems a little more sanitary, maybe. Okay. when
Well,
I
the onyx
when
silver, though, the onyx silver will help to prevent any, overgrowth of
right.
bacteria going on
Well,
it too.
well,
Anyway.
it's more the idea of it, that people,
Sure.
like, if I'm teaching someone to do it, I'm gonna, they're kind of like, ah, but
Right.
that's just another way. That's another PC way of, people being able to do it, and it gets deep into it too, because you can roll it around on the surface of it, or put it in the jar and stir it around in there, and it's fine that way. So I just wanted to add in. Thank you for reminding me, because I hadn't put that part in there,
Thank you
Tiffany.
for sharing that with alfalfa
Absolutely.
sprouts. There's so many seeds. I don't think I can keep them all in my mouth for
Well,
that
that
long.
honestly, it's pretty funny. We do it. One moment, sweet pea. We do it with our first, like, if I'm putting in 2 tablespoons, we'll put in, I don't know, 5 or 6 or 10 seeds in our mouth, and then kind of roll them off of our tongue, and put them in there and kind of spit a little bit. But what I found is, if I try to put all of it in my mouth, then Jade was eating the seeds, and I'm like, what? This is happening too soon. We're not supposed to actually. But it was hard to get them out of her mouth, and so we just do as many as we can fit on our tongue.
Yeah. Okay. Hi,
And
Jade.
look at Shabaritas,
And they said,
Jade.
in location veritas. Everyone said hello, honey. Hi.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for your insight, Tiffany.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
In location veritas, with honor, respect, and gratitude.
And Lakesh Veritas, honor, respect, and gratitude. Does anyone else have any comments or any more information to share? That's been really helpful. We now have to start thinking about these things and becoming sovereign, especially, with these impending shortages coming, thinking about growing. And the easiest thing to do is to grow sprouts at this point and do the microgreens. And you can find, more information on how to grow, on the Enlica Studios website, Enlica Studio 4, which is Syrennia's, but we'll be presenting information and, tools as far as how to grow these things.
Adil, are you gonna make a video?
Oh, I can. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Yep. So that's coming soon to your channel.
I did want to add one other thing I just thought about. Sorry to just jump in so quickly.
Oh, absolutely.
One thing that I do at the end of sprouting is to add the sunlight component and to enhance the chlorophyll in it is I put my sprouts directly in the sunlight. I mean, sometimes in a window, you know, or sometimes outside, but I put them directly in the sunlight for the last day of sprouting, and they turn very bright green.
Yeah, yeah. I've seen that. They get all these little leaves come up.
Exactly, right.
Hmm.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
love it.
yeah.
And
So,
sometimes, even when I'm drying them, I'll dump them out of the jar and I'll lie them on like cheesecloth or just like a bread towel, and I'll put them in the sunshine, not outside, but inside near a window for like
uh,
an hour or two, and then it'll also green them up more. And then I roll it back up and put them in the jar to store them in the fridge.
cool. Yeah. Now, I imagine if you put it outside, they'll probably be eaten and
Oh,
gone.
yes.
So you really want
Buy a
to
lot of things.
All right. So anyway, is there any in a deal? I mean, that was really, really helpful, showing us how to start growing. You know, again, we're gonna ask you guys to come back so that you can show us how to grow other things. There's so many things that we can do to become sovereign and, start growing our food. We need to start doing these things. This is bringing forth life, bringing out back the nutritive value of foods into our bodies, because there's so many adulterated foods that's really not food. When you look at the multiple ingredients in a lot of the products that are out there and that we find in their stores.
And
So,
I was gonna say too that the more I find like when Tiffany, when you were talking about when your husband went out to the store to get some more, and it kind of got you on track. It's almost like once you get the taste of the freshness, there's nothing like the freshness of sprouts and microgreens, to whet your appetite for more healthy food. It's
hmm
like that other food just tastes dead for real. I mean, it really doesn't taste right. And when you eat it, it's just like eating cardboard or something. And so I just feel like it enlivens my
your
brain to receive, right, my tongue, to taste. The senses are heightened, and I desire more live foods when I eat more live. So.
Yeah, and the aftermath, the way you feel afterwards eating it, you're lighter, you feel lighter, your stomach. I know that eating like food that's not real food, it just becomes it's dense because your stomach can't, or your intestines can't digest it properly, and it's just a weighted feeling. So, I mean, that's just my experience. So I like to thank Adil and Syrennia for joining us and providing us with this wealth of information, with much gratitude, honor, and respect. I'd like to also remind everyone about our whole responsibility meditation sessions that's hosted by Enlica Studios, held on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6 a.m., 12:30 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Time for only 30 minutes. Our next session is tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. So just join us tapping into that power of a Ho'oponopono, a powerful technique of forgiveness, reconciliation, and gratitude that will assist in shifting your trajectory of your life experiences into something greater. I also want to remind everyone on our Divine Nation sessions. Donna, did you have something you wanted to say?
Thank you. On the Custom Veritas with honor, respect, and gratitude. I was wondering if there was any advantage, if anybody knows, eating the sprouts or microgreens separate other than mixing them with other foods. Is there a digestive, boost? Like sometimes even the cultured veggies, sometimes it benefits you to just eat them plain, to coat that intestine if you're working towards candidas and the parasites versus adding a lot of other things to it. Does anybody have any ideas on that?
Well, and Adil can share his experience too, but the information that I have is that the sprouts and microgreens act as a prebiotic, and they have some probiotic benefits, and it's the clearing, it's that clearing effect. So it does act very similarly to a culture veggie or a fermented item, because you have the fiber, which is a prebiotic part that kind of sets the tone, for whatever you're going to eat next. And then you have the live part of it that adds the clearing part, the fermented action that happens with fermentation, to give your gut microbiome what it needs to, come alive and to, clear out the cells that are, there, that have been coated and covered up, and not
Mm-hmm.
and not alive. So yeah, it does have that, and that is even documented. Even in the Westernized approach, they talk about, eating them that way, and I don't think they talk about alone per se. They just saying eating sprouts and eating microgreens will give you that whole prebiotic, probiotic kind of gut kind of connection. So I don't know, Adil, did you have anything information about that?
So what never actually thought about it that way, but what I did was I started incorporating the sprouts more into other foods that I have been eating. For example, my mother cooks amazing Indian curry, but sometimes at the end of the day I feel drained and things of that sort, and I know if, I eat the curry with rice, I'm going to bed, right? So so sometimes I will lay the curry over a bit of sprouts instead, to get that value of the upliftment and everything. But I have noticed that the digestive side of things is much, much better.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So how is it? Sprout curry over sprouts.
Uh, well, it was a little bit of an adjustment because I grew up eating curry,
Yeah.
but the feeling, you get much more into it, and the way you feel and everything, I now prefer it. But sometimes I will go with the rice just because sometimes you just want the taste, right?
Right.
So,
Right. But I mean, the curry over the sprouts sounds delicious to me. But I like sprouts, so But it sounds really good to me as that alternative. So
oh yeah, we can try it one of these days for sure.
oh, yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Forward to
I'll,
that.
I'll do the cooking.
Okay. Does that answer your question, Donna?
Yes, I haven't researched it enough myself, but I thought sometimes it's recommended just to eat them alone if you're working on a specific um, ailment or, a
Hmm.
stomach ache or something that, sometimes the combinations of things can be too much, for
Right.
the system. And that's all I was asking, inquiring if
I'm
anybody had
thinking
any.
that your guidance will help to tell you what
Correct.
is best
Correct.
for
Yes.
you also as well.
Yes. Yes.
You know, Serenia, did you have any comments to that too?
Yeah, I was gonna say too, Donna. I find that it's, if I just need something light, or if I do have a stomach ache, or I have a headache, or something where I'm just, feeling tired or whatever, just eating them alone um, is just, I'm guided to do that, right? I
Yes.
just do it, and then I just eat it. I don't even think about putting them with anything else. I
I'm
have a routine in the morning where I put them with, like with the culture veggies, and then I put some, blueberries and that kind of thing. But if I just want like a handful, of energy, then I just go
Well, and
and do
that's
that.
been my personal experience as well. If I eat them plain, I feel the surge. I mean, it's like boom right through you. When I
Hmm.
eat them in combination, you still get it, but it's not as as amplified, I would want to say. But you're still getting the benefit. I know that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Thanks for that question, Donna. That was actually very helpful.
Thank you.
I'm sure.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. On the
Mm-hmm.
Question Veritas, honor, respect, and gratitude.
And the Kitchen Veritas honor, respect, and gratitude. All right. I also want to remind everyone about our Divine Nation sessions that are given mostly on Friday evenings at 8 p.m. for only 1 hour. And in these workshops, we're using the Call for the Truth Divination card deck, showing us, and the workshop shows us how to use these cards, using them to answer questions about ourselves, circumstances around us, questions about others and about the world. And like, for instance, the question you had, Donna, eating the sprouts alone or itself. So you could probably pull the cards and ask and see what the cards show. So, the information provided by these cards are limitless. And the workshop is completely free and a lot of fun. So I encourage everyone to sign up and join these sessions. Again, I'd like to thank Adil and Syrennia for joining us here on Clubhouse. I look forward to you returning to speak and sharing more information when it comes to, you know, other energetic forms, because this is a form of energy, food energy, providing energy within ourselves. Just remember, taking action on the knowledge that's just shared is the power. So everyone, with honor, respect, and gratitude to you all, and Lakesh and Veritas.
And the Question Veritas, honor, respect, and gratitude. Thank you.
Right.
Yes, honor, respect, and gratitude.
And the Question Veritas, honor, respect, and
In the
gratitude.
Keshen Veritas, honor, respect, and gratitude.